Simpang Renggam EMCO extended till 14th April. Police ready to impose stricter enforcement in Rembau. Good evening, I'm Azlani. Welcome to News on 2. The Enhanced Movement Control Order, EMCO, in Simpang Renggam, Johor has been extended until 14th April. Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob made the announcement during his daily press conference in Putrajaya today. The minister said the extension was to settle some issues for which action is still being taken. Meanwhile, on the question whether the government will implement an EMCO in Rembau, Negeri Sembilan following its detection as one of the COVID-19 subcluster, the minister said the government will wait for the feedback from the Health Ministry on the matter.
Untuk Rembau, perkara ini akan diperhalusi oleh Kementerian Kesihatan. Jadi walaupun saya yang mengumumkan setiap PKPD, tetapi ianya adalah di atas nasihat dan keputusan daripada Kementerian Kesihatan.
Despite achieving 97% Movement Control Order MCO compliance rate, there are some individuals who still choose to defy the order. As such, Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said that beginning yesterday, the police will be issuing 1,000 ringgit compound notice to those who caught violating the MCO.
Sehingga kini, untuk semalam, sebanyak 95 notis compound telah diserahkan kepada individu-individu yang terbabit. Mereka yang didapati engkar kepada PKP dari segi prosedurnya akan dibawa ke balai polis dan diberikan compound dan tawaran compound sebanyak RM1,000 tersebut. Dan bayaran compound hendaklah dibuat di pejabat kesihatan daerah dan balai-balai polis yang berdekatan, dan mereka akan diberikan tempoh selama 2 minggu untuk membayar compound yang dikeluarkan dan ditawarkan oleh pihak polis ini. Dan jika mereka masih gagal membayar compound, maka mereka akan dihadapkan ke mahkamah.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also said that Road Transport Department JPJ personnel will also be assisting the police to operate MCO roadblocks nationwide. The senior minister also noted that yesterday a total of 300 individuals were arrested by authorities for defying the MCO nationwide. The Orang Asli community will never be excluded from the food aid being distributed by the government amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Senior Minister for Security Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said a total of 49,670 households nationwide had benefited from the first phase of the Food Basket Aid initiative via the Orang Asli Development Department from 2nd until 10th April. The senior minister said the food aid had so far benefited 853 villages, involving an allocation of 5 million ringgit, while the second phase of food aid will be given out to 55,000 households starting tomorrow, with total allocation of 6 million ringgit.
Bantuan fasa kedua ini merupakan sambungan daripada agihan fasa pertama dengan penambahan kepada keluarga yang berpindah randah dan tinggal di kampung-kampung tambahan. Jadi jelas menunjukkan bahawa tidak ada peminggiran kepada masyarakat orang asli seperti yang ditohmahkan oleh pihak-pihak tertentu.
Negeri Sembilan Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Mat Yusof said the state police contingent will be ready to impose stricter law enforcement and roadblocks operations in Rembau. He said this after the Health Ministry reported the emergence of a new COVID-19 subcluster in 4 areas in the district, which are Pedas, Pilin, Kundo and Batu Hampa with 29 cases reported.
Tak ada apa-apa perubahan setakat ini. Kita akan tunggulah kalau pengumuman ada pengumuman untuk ambil pihak MKN ataupun KKM ada buat pengumuman baru, kita akan bantu untuk melaksanakan perintah pergerakan yang macam mana bentuk ni kita tak tahulah.
Met in Seremban, Datuk Muhammad said that the MCO compliance rate in Negeri Sembilan has reached 98%. However, until yesterday, a total of 286 individuals, including immigrants, have been arrested for violating the MCO in the state. The Kuantan district in Pahang has been declared as a COVID-19 red zone. The latest data released by the Health Ministry shows that Kuantan was declared as red zone after recording 43 positive COVID-19 cases. Kuantan became the second district in Pahang to be declared as red zone after Jerantut, which recorded a total of 61 COVID-19 positive cases. As of now, 24 districts nationwide have been listed as red zones or in the most severe category for COVID-19 cases. Lembah Pantai district in Kuala Lumpur, meanwhile, continued its run uninterrupted as Malaysia's top COVID-19 red zone with 417 positive cases recorded as of yesterday. A total of 400 public sanitization operations were carried out by the Johor Fire and Rescue Department yesterday. The operations involved 2,948 personnel from the Fire and Rescue Department, local authorities, SW Corp, SWM Environment, the Police, Health Ministry and others. Johor State EXCO Ayub Jamil said the operations were done in the state, especially in Johor Bahru, Kluang and Batu Pahat, as though 3 districts recorded the highest number of positive COVID-19 cases. The public sanitation operations were done mainly in public markets, supermarkets, retail premises and petrol stations. He said the operation will be carried out every day until the end of the movement control order. He added that the state government will be refining its standard operating procedure for the public sanitation operation to ensure the public area being properly sanitized. Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Pemaisuri Agong Tunku Haja Aziza Aminah Maimunah Iskandaria have completed the 14-day self-quarantine and were confirmed free from COVID-19. Comptroller of the Royal Household for Istana Negara, Datuk Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin, said Their Majesties and members of the royal family are in good health and have expressed appreciation to the people for their prayers and concerns over the safety and well-being of the royal family. Their Majesties and the members of the royal family have observed self-quarantine at Istana Negara as advised by the Ministry of Health MOH after several of the palace staff were tested positive for COVID-19 2 weeks ago. In a statement today, Datuk Ahmad Fadil said, following the positive cases, all 116 Istana Negara staff have also been instructed by the MOH to undergo COVID-19 screening and to observe 14-day self-quarantine, which ended today. He said Al-Sultan Abdullah, who is also concerned about the current COVID-19 situation, also repeated his advice for the people to comply to the instructions given by the MOH and other authorities, especially in regards to self-quarantine and MCO. Another 121 positive COVID-19 patients have recovered and been discharged from hospital today, bringing the total number of those discharged so far to 1,608 or 38% of the total case recorded. In his daily COVID-19 press conference, Health Director General Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah also reported a total of 109 new COVID-19 positive cases, which brought the total cumulative number of cases in Malaysia so far to 4,228. Also, 2 more COVID-19 deaths were reported today, which brings the total number of fatalities to 67 from the virus.
Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia ini memaklumkan bahawa terdapat 121 kes yang telah pulih dan dibenarkan discharge pada hari ini. Ini menjadikan jumlah kumulatif kes yang telah pulih sepenuhnya daripada jangkitan COVID-19 dan telah discharge pada ward adalah sebanyak 1,608 kes iaitu bersamaan dengan 38% daripada jumlah keseluruhan kes. Duka cita dimaklumkan bahawa terdapat pertambahan 2 kes lagi kematian berkaitan dengan COVID-19. Justru jumlah kumulatif kes kematian COVID-19 di Malaysia adalah sebanyak 67 kes, iaitu bersamaan dengan 1.58% daripada jumlah keseluruhan kes.
Datuk Dr. Noor Hisham added that a total of 72 cases were being treated in the intensive care units, and 43 of those cases needed ventilators. The current Movement Control Order MCO needs to be extended up to and beyond Hari Raya Aidilfitri, which falls in May. The Academy of Medicine of Malaysia, AMM, in a statement released today said the COVID-19 pandemic has made it necessary for social distancing to be the new norm for at least a period of time until the situation is well under control. Elaborating further, AMM said the risk of spreading the virus, particularly to the elderly, in the case of a Balik Kampung exodus, are very real. The statement also said risk associated with crowding at R&R stations and hence the failure of social distancing by travellers during this exodus and their subsequent return to urban areas will also need to be taken into consideration. AMM added responsible behaviour in adhering to social distancing measures is required of everyone until a vaccine is made available. AMM also urged the government to strengthen plans to ease the socio-economic repercussions of the pandemic as it will continue to have major negative impact on all aspects of the Malaysian economy, which is why robust whole of government and whole of society approaches are needed.
Wash your hands. Social distancing. Spread the love.
Not virus.
Stay at work for you. You stay at home for us.
Coming up next, changing usage patterns influence internet speed in Malaysia. The surge in bandwidth demand following the implementation of the Movement Control Order MCO has led to slower internet speed in the country. The Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission (MCMC) said the increased use of video conferencing, learning and shopping over the internet has made higher demand for bandwidth inevitable. In a statement today, MCMC said adherence to the MCO by remaining indoors at all times saw 23.5% higher internet traffic nationwide during the first week of the MCO, while the second week of the MCO saw a further increase of 8.6%. It noted that greater data consumption could create congestion, causing speeds to fall, adding this has affected the user experience, whereby a longer loading time is observed, particularly while consuming bandwidth-intensive content such as streaming services on high definition HD. According to the report, mobile experience during the COVID-19 pandemic, 4G download speed released by OpenSignal, Malaysia's 4G download speeds dropped from 13.4 Mbps on average in early February to an average of 8.8 Mbps last week. However, MCMC said similar trends were also being observed globally, where operators around the world are experiencing an unprecedented increase in bandwidth usage due to this behavioral shift. It added that local telecommunications and internet service providers were currently working around the clock to increase bandwidth capacity to ensure continued delivery of essential service during the MCO period, following an additional investment of 400 million ringgit for infrastructure and network upgrades, as announced in the package Rancangan Ekonomi Prihatin Rakyat, Prihatin, recently. Bank Simpanan Nasional BSN has waived the 2% interest for its BSN Micro iCredit Prihatin financing scheme for micro enterprises impacted by the COVID-19 epidemic. BSN Chief Executive Officer Dato' Yunus Abdul Ghani said the move was in support of the government's initiative to help alleviate the financial burden on small and medium enterprises, SMEs. In a statement today, Dato' Yunus said BSN hopes that the SMEs will take advantage of this opportunity to remain sustainable in the light of the current economic challenges. Under the BSN Micro iCredit Prihatin scheme, each micro entrepreneur will be able to borrow a maximum of 75,000 ringgit for a loan or financing period of between 1 year to 5.5 years. To be eligible for the financing scheme, the micro enterprise would have to be owned by a Malaysian and been in business for no less than 6 months. Dato' Yunus also reminded members of the public that the application must only be done through BSN and to be wary of the scammers pretending to be BSN officers. Good news for families living in Four People's Housing Project PPR in Selangor, as they will not have to worry about their house rentals for the next few months. The state government, in a move to ease the financial burden of 2,632 tenants living at the housing projects because of the COVID-19, has decided to exempt the rental for April and defers the payments for May and June. The state-managed housing projects are PPR Kampung Baru Haikom, PPR Kota Damansara, PPR Serenda, and Council Homes Bandar Baru Bangi. Selangor Executive Councillor for Housing and Urban Living, Haniza Muhammad Talha, said the state will bear April's rental exemption, which is cost more than 550,000 ringgit. She added the deferment of May and June's rental comes up to 1.12 million ringgit. According to Haniza, the decision came after receiving complaints from tenants who are unable to pay their monthly rent due to the several reasons such as pay cuts by their employees, inability to conduct businesses, or they have lost their source of income. Tekun Nasional will be distributing 200 million ringgit under the Supplemental Economic Stimulus Package to micro enterprises affected by the COVID-19 outbreak. Entrepreneur, Development and Cooperative Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Haji Wan Junaidi Tunku Jaafar said the dispersal of 200 million ringgit allocation would be made under the COVID-19 Business Recovery Microfinancing Scheme, CBRM, to benefit about 33,000 targeted micro entrepreneurs with a maximum funding value worth up to 10,000 ringgit. In a statement today, the minister said the CBRM provides as a capital injection to finance micro entrepreneurs in order to assist them to recover and restart existing affected businesses. He said entrepreneurs who apply for this scheme will not be charged for any of its services. This scheme is open to all business sectors with a maximum repayment period of up to 3 years, adding entrepreneurs will also be granted a 6-month grace period. The minister also said entrepreneurs who are blacklisted from any financial institutions can also apply, and approval will be subjected to the discretion of Tekun Nasional. He also expressed hopes that CBRM scheme will help and provide solutions to micro entrepreneurs to enhance the domestic economic activities in the country. That concludes News on 2 this evening. In our top story, Simpang Renggam EMCO extended till 14th April. Join us for updates at noon at 12:30 tomorrow. I'm Azlan Yadani. Stay safe, everyone.